Ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday the 10th of May, and as you know, Wednesdays are snapshot days. Today, however, something released that was not your ordinary snapshot. This is Minecraft 1.12 pre-release 1. As you probably understand, this means that we are getting very close to the release of Minecraft 1.12, the next version for the PC edition of Minecraft. First of all, let me say that if you found this video and you haven't followed my snapshot videos up to this point, this is going to be a rundown of the changes between the previous snapshot 17W18B and this first pre-release. It is not going to be a list of all of the changes for Minecraft 1.12. If you want to know that, then either wait for my comprehensive look of Minecraft 1.12 once it releases, or check back into my Minecraft news playlist that has update videos for every single snapshot released this far, so just go back through that to find all of the changes. With that said, let's get into it. Of course, seeing as we are getting ever closer to the release, this contains mostly bug fixes. Let's however start with advancements. The advancement system is replacing achievements for this version of Minecraft, and there are new advancements added into this version of the game. Those advancements are a Furious Cocktail, which is awarded when you have every potion effect in the game applied at the same time. Another new one is Postmortal. That is awarded when a Totem of Undying is used up to prevent a killing blow from killing you. Subspace Bubble. Use the Nether to travel 7 kilometers, that's 7,000 blocks, in the overworld. And Uneasy Alliance, which is to rescue a ghast from the Nether, bring it safely home to the overworld, and then kill it. Sorry, ghast friend. In other changes to advancement trees are now centered inside of the user interface. There's also a bug fix with the Serious Dedication Challenge that used to get granted whenever you broke any tool, and now it properly checks for the type of tool intended. The technical side of advancement also have a bunch of changes, some of them very important ones. Items and entities in advancements now have an extra NBT field. That is a string with NBT data in it, just like it would be inside of a command, which means that you can now check for certain types of items or entities. Entities in advancements also have an extra effects and a location field in this version. There are new triggers, there are effects changed, used totem and nether travel advancement triggers. There's also a new hidden field in the advancement display info, which defaults to false, but if you set it to true, the advancement does not show up. However, there is a more important thing in this version, and that is the fact that commands, and with them the arbitrary player tech advancement trigger, have been removed from advancements. This is a change to decouple command lists being used as function from what is essentially an achievement system, so commands now have functions of their own. Instead of a commands reward, there's now a function reward, and a new function system in the game. Each function is a plain text file inside of the world folder under data/functions and then a namespace and the function name .txt. It's very similar to how advancement files are laid out. This file contains a list of commands, one command per line, but you can also have comments by starting a line with a double slash or a hash sign. All of the commands in this file can be run from an advancement by using a function reward, but there's also a new /function command that can be used to run all the commands in any function file. All of those commands execute before the next command if you're running it from a command chain or within another function. They act like proper function calls, that is. Commands run inside of a function also affect and obey the max command chain length game rule. That means that, for instance, if you have a command block that triggers functions, that triggers functions, that trigger functions, and so on, this can recursively happen for as many levels as you want, but only up until the max command chain length amount of commands have run in total for any single source of command execution. In addition to this, there's also a new game rule. That game rule is called game loop function, and it is a function to be executed once per tick. Finally, do note that if you add in a new function or if you change the commands inside of a function, the /reload command will reload the function files from disk and bring in your new commands into the game world. that is a big change in terms of how commands are used in the game, and it has a profound impact on what you can do and how you should do it in Minecraft 1.12. But that is enough for this video. I will be making further videos detailing how to use all of these new command features for Minecraft 1.12. Of course, this is a pre-release. It also contains a bunch of bug fixes, and some of them are bug fixes to technical things and advancements, so let's quickly go through those as well. Milk buckets didn't trigger the consume item trigger in advancements. That is fixed in this version. And advancements didn't get revoked if you did /reload quickly after you did /advancement revoke. The @a selector didn't work properly with the /recipe command if you were using it in multiplayer. That is fixed in this version, and there is a fix to an error message. If you ran /setBlock to place air in a block that was occupied by something that has a block entity, like a chest or a furnace, this caused an error message to be printed saying the block couldn't be placed, despite the command actually succeeding. Enough technical stuff, let's move on to gameplay. This version fixes a very annoying bug for survival gameplay, which is you were unable to rename stacked items. If you try to take a stack of items and rename it, instead of getting a renamed stack of items, you would only get one item and the rest would sort of bug out. That is fixed in this version. The new concrete powder didn't turn into concrete when it replaced a water block. That is fixed in this version, and the concrete powder texture also wasn't randomly rotated like other similar grainy natural textures are, and now it is. Beds are being replaced with colored beds in this version, but there were some bugs with this as well. If you entered a world with an old bed in it, that bed could sometimes become invisible. In other cases, that old bed would become red in the world, but if you had it in a chest, it would become white. That is now fixed, so the bed always becomes a red bed. If you had vines under a trapdoor, that would block the trapdoor opening. That is fixed in this version. Also, in the previous version, you were able to set fire to an ignited TNT block with a flame bow. That is fixed in this version. In addition to that, Minecraft 1.12 makes some changes to which blocks connect to which other blocks and what blocks can support having other things put on top of them, like buttons and torches. And this has introduced a number of bugs. Previous snapshots have fixed a lot of bugs related to this, and this version is no exception. We have a fix for glass panes and iron bars no longer connecting to glass, tripwire hooks breaking off backs and sides of stairs if they got a block update, being able to place snow layers on top of barrier blocks, and levers and buttons could be placed on trapdoors but were then dropped when you press them. Bug fixes to mobs in this version as well, lots of them related to the new parrots. Parrots could sometimes just end up running in circles instead of properly pathfinding. That is fixed. You could also use parrots as a detector for invisible mobs. They would follow and they would keep watching invisible mobs even though they were supposed to be invisible. They would also imitate silent mobs, which honestly makes no sense. Parrots could also stare at bats even though they were over 30 blocks away and through the ground, and now they should no longer do that. And if you had a parrot on your shoulder and got into a bed with a solid block behind it, your parrot would stick into that solid block. Pets in general also had some problems with minecarts and boats. They would teleport to you even though they were actually sitting inside of the boat or minecart, so you wouldn't actually see them even though the game code thought that they had teleported. Pets could also teleport into non-full blocks next to you, and that includes some dangerous things like teleporting inside of a path block into lava or into fire. Also, white sheep looked kind of light grey rather than white, and in this version they look white again. There are also some other graphical fixes, including the fact that the beacon beam was a little bit darker than it should be. Crafting fixes in this version: the knowledge book would give you recipes before removing itself from the inventory, and that could cause the wrong behavior with advancements. The crafting table user interface didn't work properly with the recipe book if your aspect ratio wasn't the standard letterbox screen format 16:9. And some of the recipes showed wrong inside of the recipe book, like the door recipe showing the trapdoor recipe when clicked. Also, the recipe unlock for yellow dye had reversed unlock conditions. And last, but certainly not least, there are a bunch of optimizations and stability fixes in this version. Even with that, after the release of this pre-release version, And before I could even make this video, a new crash has been discovered in the game. And that happens when you try to craft something inside the 2x2 crafting grid inside of your inventory. To get around this, make sure to use the recipe book to craft the first things, and then after that stick to crafting with a crafting table, and you should be able to get around that. On the topic of crashes, this is still a pre-release version and not a full release, so if you want to try it, keep in mind that it can crash or even, if you're unlucky, corrupt your world. So if you try to do so on a test world or on a backup of your world. Now, how do you get this version? Well, you head into your Minecraft launcher, click the launcher options button and switch on the enable snapshots option in there. Then go back to your play button, where you should now have a new profile available to select called latest snapshot. Select that and hit play to have the launcher automatically download and start the latest snapshot version, which is currently this, Minecraft 1.12 pre-release 1. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please help me out in return and leave a like. If you want to stay up to date with all of the Minecraft news, subscribe to my channel where there is an update video for every new version or snapshot of the game. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.